enforcement citywide after that. And of course, everything had gone wild because of the introduction of crack into, the drug game.
Well, Eddie Berger was 22 years old.
So he was parked in front of this guy's house. And Happy Mason basically sends four guys to go kill him.
Yeah. There's a story that there's a couple of stories that I don't know if they're true, but Happy Mason had gotten a ticket for drinking beer in public something like a day or two before, and that's really what infuriated him, put him over the edge, and was like, "Let's get you." Some even said that the cop who gave him the ticket might have been anything. I don't know if it's true or not. That actually came from within jail, and it came from it was either Scott Cobb or one of the other guys on that case who were in that car. But yeah, it was doing it to send a message. They were really out of control that on both sides, including Fat Cat. They had parole officers murdered. They were out of control. And so they ordered the hit on whoever was guarding Elgin's house. And from there, the NYPD obviously responded with extreme force and created a unit called TNT, which was going to be a citywide narcotics unit, and it was going to just devastate and flood neighborhoods where these problems occurred. And so what they essentially did by murdering every gun was start this warfare on drugs in New York, and we're really expert for everybody else who was selling drugs for Amsterdam. The crazy stuff that was going on, and it really presidents spoke about it, met with the Byrne family. I've been grateful.
George W. Bush was running for president. He actually carried those Burns back to the lines. And so when I become president, I'm going to end, this that's running through our streets, and I'm going to shut down drug business and so forth. So Eddie Berger became a symbol of the war on drugs.
Sure. Okay. And so a young kid growing up in Queens with who's on the border and life doesn't know which way they're going to go, good or bad. These guys were like legendary, and that also is reflected in the music and things at the time. And so that always interested me too. And that's why I really was excited about picking this case.
One of the guys that killed Edward Berger actually just came in.
Yeah. I think this got honestly.
Possibly.
And I think there's one more duo. Yeah, I got tons of paperwork on all those guys. It's so hard to remember everyone's names after those years, but yeah, I knew all those players. Just terrible things.
How do they prove that Mason was the one that put the hit out?
I don't remember exactly how, that case, I was still a rookie cop when that case happened for the most part. So before my time, and I know I've heard the story, but I couldn't accurately tell you at this time. But you reminded me, I don't remember how some of the stuff went down. A guy named Philly Panzarella was a homicide sergeant back then, and he was the guy who really put all those cases together.
Well, you met with Fat Cat, and you actually asked her why Happy Mason had Edward Berger killed.
We did speak about it, but I didn't want to. I don't like speaking about past cases with people because they're already convicted, and it wasn't my case. So I just said, hey, I'm more interested in Springfield and what he's up to, and does he know anything about these, murdering guys, that kind of thing. And it was like a stocky dog. Because I ran around with the feds, I had access to those guys, so why not do it? You never know.
Once again, the 50 Cent get a crime. There's a line of it. So as a youth, all I ever did was sell crack and idolize him. Hurt me to my heart to hear that anyone snitched on Pat. How do you go out like that?
Yeah, well, he got put in a bad position.
Back up.
Yeah, after it, he needed to cooperate. They had threatened him with, I think, locking up his wife, and they even locked her up at one point for, being a part of the conspiracy or charges, etc. So, hey, look, he didn't have to, but he did. And it was better for him to do his time in the feds in a Woodsack facility than it would have been in the state prison. Um, and but yeah, I still think he did it to save his ass. I don't think it was entirely because of the tactics of law enforcement by going after members of his family who were culpable in the different conspiracy he was doing. They had the wives watching the money, taking bags here and there, so they weren't, innocents in the whole thing.
What exactly did he say about Pat the gangster?
I don't know. He did cooperate. I know he did say that Pappy had told him what he wanted to do, never told him. That I know, but not much of.
So what's the lockup?
Yeah, he's in state prison somewhere.
Oh, so he ended up in state prison.
Yeah, he got thrown out of Woodsack, and so he had to do his time in Clark Fed, and now he's in some horrible state prison upstate New York.
Okay, you think he's ever getting out?
Hopefully not, but strange things happen. There's a lot of sociopaths, psychopaths in there. A lot of guys who ran for drug. Like if you couldn't get one on homicide back in the day, and you ran a drug crew, when they changed the drug sentencing guidelines for crime, you could get more time locking a guy up on a conspiracy to distribute crack cocaine than you could for a murder that he committed with someone else. So there's a lot of guys who win there on drug cases now. They are really violent guys, and the way things are going, a lot of them will make their way out.
Well, yeah, I remember at one point, Cat's house got fire.
Yeah.
And people died, people got badly burned.
I think his sister or something like that, right?
It was a real mess. Like the level of violence, I mean, not only the quantity of the violence, but the intensity of the violence during that time was insane.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever talked to Blades.
Yeah, Blades did. Yeah,
he knew all that stuff too. He was I don't know what he knew. He was
yeah, I mean, Blades had a bunch of marketers that didn't cooperate. Yeah, that's amazing. And also, maybe Biggie was one speech.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And Benny never really got a chance. He did something and then came home and was done. Yeah. Why do you think Benny was able to sweep the boy? Sleeping harsh sentences.
Well, I've heard that, I heard that the way he say that Benny was a snitch. If he was, he'd be a snitch for the local detective in the precincts or something, but I never heard of him being a snitch in athletics or different units. But he was around back in the day, glad he knew like Def Jam. I don't know what to make of him. I mean, he was also around with Prince when Prince was away. And he was a rat now. I mean, like, everybody now has these conspiracies where the guys are rapping and then they say, well, show me the paperwork, or show me the action in the sentence, and then they can't. And it doesn't matter to them. They just say it's a government conspiracy, there's a shadow government, enforcement works, and some other secret courts, and that's just not true. So, but that's not to say that they should be informed. A lot of people who are big drug traffickers, I know, and you've probably interviewed, who were
Final 10 seconds here, and this is not been his round for sure.
Who were local PDs that called the feds, and it was to the competition or maybe the civil arson,
Or
constable
murder,
or whatever. So there are tons of snitches out there, and at very high levels. So
well, one of the guys that was around during all this time was E-Money Banks.
yes,
You ever deal with him directly?
never dealt with him directly, but his case was covered under my trial at this with the Supreme Court. His murder case.
Okay, so E-Money Banks was a known guy. He was also a rapper. And at one point, him and Supreme got into a beef over a car.
Yes. So this guy Spencer Trump from New Jersey, and he was one of these guys who get you cars, So how illegitimate it was, I don't know. It was one of those deals where if you need a car, uh, usually this car like a flashy car. He would get them some kind of weird lease agreement or whatever, and the whole thing was like to get you the car. So Supreme hooked up with this guy Spencer. Somewhere along the line, it went bad. I think E might have changed his mind. It was taking too long. He wanted some other kind of car, and then he wanted his down payment back. And it wasn't happening, and for whatever reason, I think had a blowout over it. Got to the point where they had an argument in person, and then he pulled out a gun to shoot Supreme and ended up shooting. Well, he pulled out a gun and fired some rounds. I don't know what his intentions were. They were assumed to harm Supreme, but Supreme's number one lieutenant, Black Jobs, Holger Johnson, he gets shot in the leg. Supreme drives him to the Jamaica hospital, pulls him over the car, and he ends up bleeding out of his femoral artery and bowels.
He actually went to the hospital first.
He drove him to the hospital and see him looking out of the car, and then he takes him.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah. And so now he goes and he goes into hiding. I was actually privileged. I had an informant call this woman Sherry. I forget her last name, but she's dated both Edie and Black Dust. And at one time, on the phone call, she says, that Edie Banks was really upset that she was now dating Black Just, and he was talking about going after him and everything else. And so she told Black Just, and he went had to sit down with Eddie and tried to calm him down. Apparently, it was all worked out. So there is some speculation by some people that he didn't really care if he hit Black Just or not, but he always told the story that he was sorry he got hit. Yeah, it wasn't his intention.
Okay, so this shooting happens. Black Just gets killed. Supreme gets killed. So you talked about how after that, Supreme wanted to do the bad shit.
What do you think of what we've seen so far from these two boxers, Johnny?
And not only he was dead, but he wanted to kill.
There came a time when there was a double homicide in Maryland, and two drug dealers from one of them was Imam Clara, who was an associate of Supreme's. He and his bodyguard, or buddy, ended up dead outside a condo in Mullins Mills, Maryland. And they set up the scene. They find out that they were going to an apartment there. They get a search warrant for the apartment and find, amongst other things, drug paraphernalia, but Supreme's personal effects. One of those things was a VHS cassette. So they do their due diligence. They find out who Supreme is. They make some calls, and I end up going down, spending several trips down to Owens Mills to visit with members of the Baltimore County Homicide Squad, and they produce this tape. So we pop it in, and I'm watching it, and it's a woman speaking, and she's holding up a video camera, looking out the window and saying, "Better hurry, he's out, we're bringing to play the food," and there's Edie sitting in his truck, and the family was having a barbecue at this house, and they're bringing food back and forth, and he wasn't paying attention, he wasn't looking at his nerves, and she guided the hit team in to kill him. Supreme had assembled a team of guys with this guy Manny Mosley. He used to go by the name of Manny Dog. He put this hit team together. He had guys like eBay from World's Crew, some other guys who he knew from were recommended by Supreme. They had been living in a house out there, responding to phone calls like E's over here, 50's over there, Big One's Trails over here. And they were just like, they were like a rapid response team of hitmen who would just go out looking for them. And on that day, she was guiding them in to kill E, and they did it. So,
Okay, and this happened outside of Stretch's house.
yes.
Stretch, who later on would roll around with Tupac.
Yeah, well, this is after Stretch's death.
Oh, this is after his death.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, his brother's street name is Majesty, or Majestic. I think it was Majesty for some reason. And yeah, so they're having a little bit of a barbecue, and little does he know she's guarding this hit team. So, and then I think he gets killed first. So he was placed that he was from the other side of Queens, and he was a robber, hustler, real violent kid. He was kind of tight with that he was Troy Singleton. And there were two guys that pushed back against Supreme. They would take shots at different guys here and there that were tight with Supreme. They're guys, they're street guys, guys from other records. So Supreme looked really weak at that point when it's like these two bands who were just like, screw you, they do whatever they want to do. Moving away. And so he had to go first, though, I would assume, because Black Just was a well-respected guy in Queens, and he's a genuine gangster if there is such a thing.
So the woman who filmed the incident and actually called in the guy's funeral,
Nicole Bundy.
she was a crackhead.
Yeah, she was all banged up. I mean, I looked like a child. Dealing with her was like dealing with like a 10-year-old bratty kid. Yeah, she admitted to her part in it, and it was important to Supreme that it was filmed. And sadly, though, she ends up dropping the camera as soon as this guy pulls up. She doesn't want to. She gets scared, and I guess she goes duck or whatever. So why they held on to the tape, I don't know. That was ridiculous. That we would hold on to a tape that's really memorialized on the side of progress, So why Supreme held on to that tape, I'll never know. But the tape really ends right as they pull up.
So it turns off. It turns off. Oh, so drop it, just drop it.
Well, that I don't remember. I think it turns off because I don't remember if I heard gunshots on it or not. So, but I didn't know what I had initially, and my suspicions were it was that. And my partner Tony Castiglione, he actually got the television shows for the day, and that were, you could hear it in the background, time stamped to that day, time, right up to the hit, to we put it all together, and it was pretty good police work. So it wasn't that as easy as, it's not like the home run you think it is from the first take like that. You still got to get the photographer to fess up to some things too.
Okay, but she wasn't charged with it. She's part of this murder. So wait, she is part of this murder.
Yeah, I think she pled out. I forget what she pled out to, but she was arrested and she pled out. Okay.
And
It was such a disaster. I needed a big and, you know,
Final 10 seconds here.
and
That's
we
something
screwed
they
had his
desperately
try. This
needed.
is
And
the
hold that thought.
yes,
If there's
it was
anyone
a
that can get out of
ridiculous murder.
trouble, it's Muhammad
Yes.
Ali.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, the murder of E and the murder of Troy Singleton. And I'm not sure if we added in the murders Taylor Barrett and his partner from down in Baltimore, but definitely those two for New York.
Heart and soul was laid out
Okay.
right there.